So we just realized in order for the value to go from 1/2 to 1, I have to multiply by its reciprocal, which is 2. And then we took the 2x times each term and have this polynomial to draw the line, change the signs, and add down. So sorry about that in the middle of the game. I get 100x squared, and then I have both negatives, so I have 4512x. Big numbers. Plus 0. So now you know this. What do I take 1/2 times to get 100? 200. Good job. Number sense. There it is. So right here, 200. 200 times 1/2 is 100x squared. 200 times 27 is 5,400. Sorry. And 200 times 6 is 1,200. So I draw the line, change the signs, add down. I looked it up, and yes, this is a monster number. We did nothing wrong. Okay, we just need to put our story into the template. Aren't you glad you do not have to type it all in? That is a grace right there. And then on the, on the test, you'll pick your quotient that you find. My graphics, they don't have fractions. Sorry about that. Like it doesn't take the fraction thing. Sorry. Okay, here's the quotient. So 2 goes here, and the 200 goes there. Then my negative, you see how they have the parentheses around this? I don't know why, but I have to type in a negative because it's not there, but I didn't do anything wrong. But the negative for the 1,200 is there. So you want to have the negative for your remainder typed in there because they have parentheses around there. So. Okay. That. Yay, we're back to synthetic division. Even though it has decimals, we're good. In the crow's nest is going to be opposite of what I see, so I'm going to divide by negative 2.25. That's what makes this divisor 0. Then I write I got a lot of missing, well, one missing power anyway. Can you guys see that? Do I need to zoom in a little? What's a little? I need to go get new glasses. It goes 4, missing the x to the third. So I write an 8, a 0, negative 64.5, negative 60, negative 4, power of 4. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and I do. Yay. Draw the line and drop the first coefficient. Calculator. Okay. This on them. data. 8 times a negative 2 and 25 hundredths is a negative 18. Add down. Negative 18 times 2 and 25 hundredths is a positive 40 and 5 tenths. Add down. Negative 2 and 25 hundredths times a negative 24 is a positive 54. Add down. Sometimes I draw my arrows and sometimes I don't, right? That's a negative 6. So I multiply these two and I get they're both negative, so I get a positive 13 and 5 tenths. So then I get a 9 and 5 tenths. So I just put my values. Remember, this guy is the remainder. And these just go in order. Because if I'm dividing an x to the 4th by an x, that means my coefficient of my quotient belongs to x cubed, x squared, x, and constant. So the 8 will be the coefficient of x cubed. They already have the negative for the 18. They already have the negative for the 24. And they already have the negative for the 6. So when you do your mathness, you will just put in the digits. And if you have the right signs, you know you did the right thing. So far, that last question is the only one that you put in negatives for, correct? At negative 9,912. Good stuff. To 15. You ready? More synthetic division. Yay. We're going to divide by 9 synthetically because that's what makes the divisor 0. And I have a 3, 2, 1 blast off. They happen to be decimals. So that's the challenge. But remember, you know how to synthetically divide. You can do it with any kind of numbers you want. Thanks to the technology. Oops, 71. All right, I have a power of 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 values in my synthetic division game. So all I have to do now is the arithmetic. All right. So I multiply and I get a 40.5, which is positive. So I take their sum and I get a 6.5, that's positive. Multiply, I get a 58.5, that's positive. Take that sum and I get a negative 8. Multiply, I get a negative 72, and that's just one off negative. They already have it as a negative. So then you just have to fill in your coefficients. And the 8's negative is there. Dividing polynomials. You have to know everything to be able to do this. You have to know about exponents. You have to know about like terms. You know your math facts. It's a great way to end the semester, for sure. Ready? We got a word problem if you're ready. We're dealing with geometry. The volume of a rectangular prism is what? Length times width times height. So you wouldn't write this, you know, like you'd write down number 16 and you'd write down this formula, okay? And the only thing that now you have to write down, it says, if I multiply these three out, I get this polynomial. Given that these two binomials, and they're linear, okay, they're to the power of 1, are two of the dimensions, I need to find the third dimension. So there is two ways you can do it. You can multiply these two, then divide it long division into the given polynomial. Or you can synthetically divide each one of these. Do this one first and this one second, and then you'll get the missing dimension using synthetic division. So I vote for synthetic, and I vote that we, anybody else have a different vote, please let me know if you like long division, or you can do it yourself, and if you got it right, you're right. If you didn't get it right, then maybe you want to go the synthetic way because it's most efficient, and you can catch your mistakes really easy. You guys can see when I multiply wrong. Okay, so I'm going to divide by this one synthetically first, and then I'll take this answer and divide it by the next one. So once I divide it because it's length times width. So if I take the volume divided by length first, and then I divide it by the width, voila, the height is left. So you do it all the time with numbers, so now we're going to do it with polynomials. So my synthetic divider is a 1 in the crow's nest. I have coefficients of 1, -10, 23, and -14. I have a power of 3, and there's 4 values in my synthetic division game, so I know that's ready to go. So yay, if it didn't go in evenly, I did something wrong. Remember when I divide a cubed by a x to the first, I end up with x squared, right? So now I'm going to divide 7 into my new numbers, 1, -9, and 14. And I'll end up with a linear binomial that designates the missing dimension. So 1, 7, -2, 14, that's negative, and I get a 0. Am I up there okay? Remember what this means. This is the remainder, and I go down 1 power, so it's just an x. So my missing dimension is x -2. Don't put parentheses, just x -2, because that is my missing binomial. If I multiply x -2 times x -1 times x -7, I'll get the cubic function up here. And you're going, what's the point? Well, box factories, you know, they need infinite number of sizes of boxes. My sister-in-law used to work at a box factory in California. It's really cool when she told me about it. And they calculate a function, and then they plug in what size they need, and then it will come up with the correct dimensions. So saves a lot of time and manpower thanks to algebra. So that's just an example of a application of polynomial division. For some reason they had a missing dimension, or maybe they wanted to experiment with different dimensions, and so they knew 2 of them they wanted to change. Then as a result of changing those 2, what's the third one? Like that. So saves a lot of pushing of the pencil. And that, you know, in business, it's about time and profit. For sure. 17 is a word problem where the height of a rectangle is given and the volume is given as a polynomial. So remember, volume is length times width times height. Find the expression that represents the area. So I only need to divide once, because if I divide it by the height, that will give me the area, which is length times width. So that's why I know I only divide it once. I'm going to divide by a -2 synthetically. I'm going to put a 1, a -6, a -16, and a 0, because I don't have a constant in my polynomial. That's negative belongs to that 6. There we go. That's a power of 3, so I need 4 values to play the game. Draw the line. Bring down the 1. Multiply. 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 And now we've got our story. But this is tricky. This is the tricky part. That's our remainder. And this was x cubed to start with. So I just go down 1 power. So my area is x squared minus 8x. Okay? It isn't x minus 8. You only go down 1 power if you divide once. So that you might have missed that if you were not paying attention. And it makes sense. Common sense. Area is units squared. You got to have it squared in the story to get units squared. Kind of fun. I think 18 is back to just a synthetic division, but figuring out what goes in the crow's nest is a little tricky. So you don't have to write this down. What you can write down is, the synthetic divider. What will make this 0? Subtract 4. I'm going to have to move my synthetic divisor down. My crow's nest. Okay. So I get 3x is a -4. Divide by 3. X is a -4/3. So that is my synthetic divisor. So, that gets go up in the crow's nest. Yikes. But thankfully, since we're synthetically dividing, we'll just be multiplying things. You can take -4/3 times anything. I have a 3, a -11, -23, and -6. It's a power of 3. I have 4 values, so I'm ready to play the game. -4/3 times 3 is a -4. I can do that in my head. -15. Okay, this guy turns out positive 20. I'm doing it in my head, guys, so tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, please. -3 goes back to a positive 4, and I end up with a -2. So I don't know what you'll get on your number 18, but if you don't do good with the mental math and fractions, please feel free to use technology. Okay, 3. I'm checking my work. Okay, that is 60/3, which is 20. That is positive 12/3, which is 4. Yep. We got this thing. Okay, but you have to type it in. That's what makes 18 a pickle. So I'm going to write it down here since I lost my story. 3x plus 4 is given, right? You don't have to type that in, but you do get to type in. Remember what this means. I had a cube here, so it goes down to a squared and x. So 3x squared minus 15x minus 3 minus 2. So what do you have to fill in? You got to fill in all that, and then you got to put in the 2 box. So you get to type that last one in. That's not too bad. Just have to type one polynomial in. Okay. That's armed to finish 6.5. Work day tomorrow. Start the review on Monday. Yay, yay, yay.